Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your English 2 class. Today we will read a very interesting prose that is there included in your ICSE syllabus, and I'm going to teach you today All Summer in a Day. This is one of my favorite short stories that are presented in your storybook, and today we will be reading the whole story and we will have so much fun together. I hope all of you have opened your book. Open the book so that you can relate, and I'll be just reading out line by line and try to decipher all the meanings all together. So as I always told you, while you are reading something, it's very necessary to know about the author, the setting of the piece, and what was the theme on which the particular story or the poem has been composed, right? So this All Summer in a Day is written by Ray Douglas Bradbury. So in your book there is a box, right, where we can find it is written about the author. So let us read that box first so that we can have a faint idea about the author and his type of writing. So Ray Douglas Bradbury was an American fantasy, science fiction, horror and mystery fiction author. So by this we can understand he loves to deal with fantasy, science fiction, horror, mystery. Isn't it interesting? His short story, All Summer in a Day, is set on the planet Venus. Okay, so this is something not at all obvious. A story that has been set on Venus and not on Earth, right? And describes in vivid detail that the day when the planet experiences sunshine, an event that occurs once in 7 years. Okay, so here on the earth the sun shines every day. So this is quite a common affair, a common event to witness for all of the inhabitants on the earth. But on the Venus, this is not something very ordinary, rather very extraordinary, that the sun shines once in 7 years. The scene is set in a school where the teachers and children await the appearance of the sun. The story explores the darker side of human nature that is manifest in the children that we will come to know afterwards. And there is a protagonist named Margaret who has come from all way the earth. So we will come to know about Margaret and how she stood as a foil character to the other inhabitants of Venus. And Bradbury's the tale ends on a note of hope that the children, we will see the children will feel shameful about themselves for something that they have done. What they have done, for that we need to read out the whole story. I don't wanna make a spoiler over here by telling you the fact. So let us discuss the story in detail. Hopefully the book is there with everybody. So here, All Summer in a Day. All Summer in a Day, here actually Douglas Bradbury creates a situational irony. What is situational irony? Here we expect that something will happen, but exactly opposite to that happens. Okay, so All Summer in a Day, here actually we are talking about a day that is of great importance, where we can feel something that will make us feel warm. That is why summer is written. But all summer in a day, only in a single day. So the title itself is very much ambiguous, and it has something more to say beyond the mere title, right? So let us decipher that. So, yes, we will be discussing about the theme and the symbols presented in the story. There are certain literary devices present here. While reading the story and deciphering the story line by line, I'll try to tell you all that. So, without wasting time, I'll ask you to read out the story with me. Ready? Ready. Now, soon. Do the scientists really know? Will it happen today? Will it? So we can understand they all are talking about something. They are actually very curious to witness an event. That is why they are saying, ready? Someone is replying, ready. All set? Yes, done, set. So now, soon, the scientists are predicting that today is the day. So today is the day means something special will take place today. Look, look, see for yourself. The children pressed to each other like so many roses, so many widths intermixed, peering out for a look at the hidden sun. So here we can see, we can find here there's a simile. The children are pressing each other as if they all are like flowers, like roses, weeds that all are present in a bouquet. They all are just tied together. It seems like they are pressing each other. Here, this different flowers that are present here, there in a bouquet, has been compared to the children, the way they are pressing each other. They all are ready to see the sun, the hidden sun. It rained. It rained. It had been raining for 7 years. Can you imagine? It had been raining for 7 years. Thousands upon thousands of days compounded and filled from one end to the other with rain, with the drum and gush of water, with the sweet crystal fall of showers and the concussion of storms so heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. Here we can see so many literary devices present. So to begin with, we can find, like we understand that there were raining. Okay, there has been raining, and that is for long 7 years. So here we are told that it is told there that with a drum and gush of water, we can see here the author has used the metaphor of rain. Okay, the sound of rain has been determined by the author with different visual and auditory imagery that we will understand. We will see later on in this prose further. So with the drum and gush of water, with sweet crystal fall of showers, the rain droplet here is exactly like the crystal balls of a necklace. When it is just it is tied, it looks like a necklace. When the knot is not present there, it looks like as if they are ready to fall down, the way the raindrops fall on the earth. Okay. And the concussion of storms, mean the impetus of heavy storm, so heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. This is nothing but hyperbole. Is that possible? Can you imagine the auditory images are put together here just to bring out the sound effect. Okay, it seems like a heavy tidal waves are literally hitting the island. It is not possible. Had it been done in this manner, I don't think they would have suffered. So here where I was, 1,000 forests had been crushed under the rain and grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. So there is forest, a forest that is stretched on a large, stretched area, and those forests were crushed again they developed, again crushed, and only one thing remained constant, that is raining. On the planet Venus, it had been raining for long 7 years. And this was the way of life was forever on planet Venus, and this was the schoolroom of the children of the rocket men and women who had come to a raining world to set up civilization and live out their lives. So of course, to go to Venus, it is not possible to take a flight and go there directly. We can't go there boarding on a train either. So we have to take rockets, right? So we are talking about the children present in a school room over there, and that school room is present on the planet Venus. There people go. They are rocket men and women, because obviously without rocket it's not possible to go there. So they all went there to having a hope within their hearts, like they will have a different civilization over there and they will live up there. So it's stopping. Yes. Maggots stood apart from them, from these children who could ever remember a time when there wasn't rain. So see, it's stopping. So this is something to yell for, because we are already known to the fact that on the Venus there always it's raining. So they are very excited that it's going to stop, and this is something very, very common over there. It's always rain. They were all 9 years old, and if there had been a day 7 years ago when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. Okay, so of course, since they are 9 years old, all the children out there, they are 9 years old, and the sun last had shown its face 7 years 7 years ago, right? So they must be of 2 years then. So they don't really remember how did the sun look. Okay, so sometimes at night she heard them stir in remembrance, and she knew they were dreaming and remembering a gold or a yellow crayon or a coin large enough to buy a world with. Okay, so here she is the protagonist here, that we will come to know about her name. She is Maggot. According to her, actually she is saying that sometimes at night she heard them stir in remembrance. Them means the other students present in the school, except Maggot. Why except? We will come to that fact later on. She knew that they were dreaming. When do we dream? When we can't achieve that thing, but we want to achieve, or something that has a deep influence upon us, we generally dream of that particular thing. So they are dreaming, okay, and remembering gold and a yellow crayon or a large coin enough. So they are dreaming of something that looks yellow in color and like a coin, and enough to buy the world with. Means it is very precious. With that we can buy the whole world. She knew. They thought they remembered a warmness like blushing in the face, in the body, in the arms and legs, and trembling hands. She knew. They thought they remembered the warmness. Why they remembered the warmness only? Because it is not possible for them to remember how did the sun look. Okay, because they were only 2 years old then, but they remembered the warmness the sun had on them. So they must be dreaming of that warmness. Okay, but then They always awoke to the tatting drum, the endless shaking down of clear bead necklaces upon the roof, the walk, the gardens, the forest, and their dreams were gone. So again we can see this is nothing but the metaphor of rain. So she is saying that they are dreaming, but all of a sudden their dream broke. Why or how? With the droplets, with the sound of the droplets of rain, and it's like the shaking down of clear beads as if the necklace is torn or ripped completely. So the crystal balls are falling apart and the dreams are gone. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun, about how like a lemon it was and how hot, and they had written small stories or essays or poems about it. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. Okay, so yesterday means the day before, the day the protagonist is saying all this. So they had a lesson on sun. So they came to know how generally a sun looks like. So it's like a lemon it was, and they have literally written short stories or poems on that. And it's like the sun is like a flower, means again sun is a flower, it's a metaphor. The sun has been compared to a flower, but the comparison is hidden, not explicit, rather implicit. So it's a metaphor here. So the sun has been compared to a flower because it blooms. Okay, and when it rises or shines on the sky, it just looks exactly like a flower. That blooms for just 1 hour. So it just blooms means the sun only blooms for 1 hour. Okay. That was Margot's poem, read in a quiet voice in the still classroom while the rain was falling outside. So that was Margot's poem. So who has written this? As I told you all, there's a protagonist in the prose and her name is Margot. She has written the poem, and in a very quiet voice, she just read out the poem in a silent class while the rain was falling outside. Oh, you didn't write that, protested one of the boys. So this is the antagonist. I did, said Margot. I did. William, said the teacher. Means, see, William was the name of the boy who protested against Margot's writing. How can someone write like that? It seems like the girl is well acquainted with the sun and its appearances, but the other students, they are not like Margot. So William protested. And the teacher actually interrupted William and asked not to do this. But that was yesterday. Now the rain was slackening, means decreasing. The amount of rain has been decreasing. The children were crushed in the great thick windows. So when they found the rain is literally slowing down, they all have gathered in the nearby window. Where's the teacher? She'll be back. She would better hurry. We'll miss it. So, she will be definitely coming and joining us. But let us go. We are just not going to take any chance to miss this appearance. Whose appearance? The sun's appearance. Because the sun is going to appear once in 7 years. And that is the day said by the scientist. They turned on themselves like a feverish whale, all tumbling spokes. It's nothing but a metaphor again. So the children, they they are having, what to say, they are having, they are turning against each other and arguing. So while turning against each other, they look like a whale, and feverish means, they are very warm in their argument. Okay, so they look like a feverish wheel and tumbling spokes. Margot stood alone. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes and red from her mouth and yellow from her hair. So here we are talking about Margaret, who seems to be lost in the rain because she has been actually noticing rain for long 5 years since she visited the planet Venus. Okay, and it means the rain has taken away all the vitality. The girl Margaret has blonde hair, blue eyes and red pink lips, and it has taken the rain has washed out the blue from her eyes, the red from her mouth and the yellow from her hair. Means all the vitality, all the color has been taken away by the rain. Means it shows how disappointed she was on the planet Venus, and it has literally taken all the vitality, all the freshness of all the joviality of the girl Margaret. She was an old photograph dusted from an album, whitened away, and if she spoke at all, her voice would be a ghost. So she is again here compared with a photograph. Okay, so she's compared to a photograph here. It is again a metaphor, a metaphorical image. So why is it said? Because while a photograph is old, it looks like dusted and faded out. So Margaret is exactly looking like a washed out or an old photograph, and it is whitened away. Okay, and if she tries to speak, all will understand as if a ghost is speaking, because now her voice is also no more sound like a human. Rather, it is very it's like frozen, very frail and faint and like a ghost. Now she stood separate, staring at the rain and the loud wet world beyond the huge glass. So she just stood separate because the other children do not like Margaret so much. They do not include Margaret. Okay, so she was standing apart, and she was standing separately, and she was just looking or staring at the rain and the loud wet world beyond the huge glass, as it's raining incessantly and it is making loud noise. Okay. "What are you looking at?" said William. Margaret said nothing. "Speak when you are spoken to. Please speak. This is manners. Like, you should speak when you are spoken to." He gave her a shove. Means he just pulled her a little. But she did not move. Rather, she let herself be moved only by him and nothing else. Okay, they edged away from her. They would not look at her. She felt them go away, and this was because she would not play games with them in the echoing tunnels and the underground city. So why all the other students just behave like this with Margaret? Because she does not like to play with them down the tunnel where they love to play, and she just keeps herself apart from them. If they tagged her and ran, she stood blinking after them, did not follow. See, if her eyes are closed and she's tagged and she's asked to follow them, she did not do that. She just remained, standing there silently. When the class sang songs about happiness and life, and games, her lips barely moved. Means she doesn't even like to sing the song of happiness. Only when they sang about the sun and the summer did her lips move as she watched the drenched window. See, only when they sang about the sun and summer, did her lips move as she watched the drenched window. So here we can see there is a little hope present in the girl named Margaret, because when they sing about the sun, she tries to sing a little, and she looked at the window, the drenched window, the wet window, with the hope that the sun will come out soon. And then, of course, the biggest crime of all was that she had come here only 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun and the way sun was and the sky was when she was 4 in Ohio. See, so that is his ultimate mistake that she had committed ever. Like, she was presently she was on the Venus, but previously she was on the Earth like us. So she was in Ohio. So she remembered how the sun looked then, and she exactly remembered how the sky was when the sun used to shine, and that was the only mistake, and the biggest one rather, she had ever committed, because the other students, they do not really remember. And they had been on Venus all their lives, and they had been only 2 years old when last the sun came out, and had long since forgotten the color and heat of it and the way it really was. But Margaret remembered. So they were barely 2 years old when they have witnessed sun, but they don't really remember how the sun was looking back then, and they only remembered the warmness maybe, but not exactly the look of the sun, because long since it has forgotten by them, because they have seen the sun about 7 years ago. It's like a penny, she said once, eyes closed. No, it is not, the children cried. So it's like a penny. Who said this? Margaret said this, because she remembered, right? But the other students, they just revolted against her. No, it's not. It's like a fire, she said, in the stove. So she said here again, it's like a fire. It is a simile. The fire is exactly like the sun, because the sun is very warm and it resembles a fire. So here Margaret is saying it's like a fire, but no, they all said no. You are lying, you don't remember, cried the children. But she remembered and stood quietly apart from all of them and watched the patterning windows. So she remembered and stood quietly apart from them, because she knew that no one will believe her. So she generally loved being separated from them, and she just she loved to look at the window with the hope that the sun will shine soon. And once a month ago, what happened once a month ago, she had refused to shower in the school shower rooms. I had clutched her hands to her ears and over her head, screaming, the water mustn't touch her head. So what happened a month ago? She refused to shower. She refused to take shower in the school shower rooms. Had clutched her hands to her ears like this and her head like this, and screaming, the water mustn't touch her head. Why? Why did Margaret react in this manner? This actually reminds her of the endless rain which she is thoroughly tired of. Okay, and she does not want to be under the same tyranny of constant downpour again. So she is tired of incessant raindrops. She doesn't want to make her hair wet under the same tyranny of downpour. So after that, dimly, slowly, she sensed it. she was different and they knew her difference and kept away. There was talk that her father and mother were taking her back to Earth next year. So there was something, just roaming around from mouth to mouth that the child might leave us, okay, and next year to the Earth again. It seemed vital to her that they do so, though it would mean the loss of thousands of dollars to her family. But they don't have the money as of now. That is why they are staying on Venus for the time being. But they would love to go back to Earth when they have ample amount of money. Because it will cost a great loss of thousands of dollars to the family. And so the children hated her for this all reason. So these three reasons you have understood, right? The first reason was she was from Earth and she remembered how the sun exactly looks like. So that was her first crime. The second crime was what? She doesn't play with them. She doesn't like the ambience on the Venus, and she literally revolted, even if silently, but she does. And the third one is she's going back to Earth next year, and that is why all of them just tagged her that she's someone different. And this is actually the normal conflict that all the human beings face on everyday basis. Because if we want to do something different, we will have people standing against us. We will hardly have somebody who will just stand by our side and just say, okay, well done, you are doing well, we are there always. No, you will not get people like that. Rather, you will get people who will just demotivate you, will not encourage you. Rather, they will put negative thoughts into your head, so that you start doubting your own idea or your own venture, and eventually stop doing that. Okay, so here also Margaret, as she was someone really different, no one believed her, everyone revolted against her, no one loved her, and just they have shown what to say, they are quite detestful towards her. So the children hated her for all this reason, and the little consequence, they hated her pale snow face, her waiting silence, her thinness, and her possible future. That is the main important thing. So they literally hate everything about her. The way she looked, the way she was waiting for the sun to come, and her thinness and the possible future most of all. Get away! The boy gave her another push. What are you waiting for? Then for the first time she turned and looked at him. What she was waiting for was in her eyes. So the eyes were really hopeful. She was waiting for the sun to shine once again, and this hope was really evident in her eyes. Then, don't wait around here, cried the boy savagely. You won't see everything. So, see the way they all are just behaving with that particular girl. Her lips moved. Nothing, he cried. It was all a joke, wasn't it? He turned to the other children. Nothing's happening today, is it? They all blinked at him, and then understanding and laughed and shook their. They all are literally, having a prank upon the child. They are blinking each other's eyes as if they are just lying to the girl, and just trying to deceive the girl, and just making fun of the girls very savagely. Nothing. Oh, but Margaret whispered, her eyes held. But this is the day the scientists predict. They say they know the sun. And it was an unfinished sentence. She was hopeful, as the scientists predict that today is the day that the sun will rise up in the sky. But the other children, they did not want her to witness such a colorful event, and they are making fun of the girl continuously. So all a joke, said the boy, and seized her roughly. So it's just a joke, and just grabbed her roughly. Hey everyone, let's put her in a closet before the teacher comes. Okay, see how desperate the children are. They are saying that let her just lock her in a closet before the teacher comes. No, said Maggot, falling back. They surged about her. They rose and moved forward her, caught her up and bore her, protesting and then pleading and crying. See the selfless condition of the girl. Back into a tunnel, a room, a closet, where they slammed and locked the door. So they just come into a tunnel, room, a closet, and they literally just locked the girl. Slammed means what? Slammed means just shut with a sudden force and locked the door. They just stood looking at the door and saw it tremble down her beating, throwing herself against it. They heard her muffled cries. Oh my God, she was silently sobbing. She was trying to come out, then smiling. They turned and went out and back down the tunnel just as the teacher arrived. So they left Margot in such a pitiful situation, and they just left her alone as the teacher arrived. Just imagine, this is the message the author wants to portray. If you want to do something different, you might have to face the consequences like that, the way Margot faced here in the story. Ready, children? She glanced at her voice. Yes, said everyone. Are we all there here? Yes. The rain slackened still more. The rain slackened. Okay, it got slowed down a bit more. They crowded to the huge door. The rain stopped. It was as if in the midst of a film concerning an avalanche. Now see the imagery here. How the author has used the minute detailings with the imageries. So it seems like in the midst of a film concerning an avalanche, it seems like it was a film that was going for so long. An avalanche, we all know a large mass of snow is coming down. A tornado means a whirlwind, we all know. A hurricane means what? We can say it's a heavy rainstorm. A volcanic eruption, we all know. Something had first gone wrong with the sound apparatus. There must be some problem in the sound apparatus, in the machinery, the sound machinery. Why is it said so? Because thus muffling and finally cutting off all the, thus muffling means thus the sound is getting muted, and amidst all that finally cutting off all the noise means the noise all of a sudden got stopped. Okay, all the blasts and repercussion and thunders, and then second ripped the film from the projector and inserted in its place a beautiful tropical slide which did not move or tremor. So amidst all the thunder and repercussion, what happened? It seems like somebody has ripped off the film from the projector, and instead of that insert something, a slide containing containing a tropic something very much tropical. Okay, and yes, it did not move or tremor. The world ground to a standstill. Now the world seems like a standstill position. The silence was so immense and unbelievable that you felt your ears had been stuffed or you had lost your hearing altogether. So there was nothing but a silence, complete silence prevailing over there, and it feels like you have become deaf, or something is stuffed inside your ears, or I don't know what it is. The children put their hands to their ears and they stood apart. The door slid back, and the smell of silent waiting world came into them. See, the silent world, the waiting and silent world came into them. This is a different world. Why this is a different world? Because here the sun shines, right? The way it shines on the earth, here also it has come to its appearance and it starts shining. The sun came out. It was the color of flaming bronze, and it was very large, and the sky around it was a blazing blue tile color. So this minute imagery you please notice on, and see how beautifully the author has used the colorful imageries over here, how the sky was looking then, how the sun was looking then, and the jungle burnt with sunlight, and the children released from the spell rushed out yelling into the springtime. So here it is told that the children were very happy. They literally came out of that spell as if someone has casted a spell upon the children, and they were very happy and yelling into the springtime. It seems like it's springtime. Everything has come to its vitality. Now don't go too far, called the teacher after them. You have only 2 hours, You wouldn't want to get caught out. So just 2 hours you have. The teacher tried to calm them down. Just have patience and have all of it. But they were running and turning their faces up to the sky and feeling the sun on their cheeks like a warm iron. They're just smelling the sun. They are just feeling the warmness of the sun, and they're just showing their cheek, and it is very much bare and exposed to the sun so that they can soak its ultimate warmness, its vitality. So the sun burned their arms, so they are enjoying. Their arms are getting burned. Oh, it's better than the sun lamps, isn't it? Much better. Oh, it's better than the sun lamp. So they are acquainted with the sun lamp beforehand, and they are witnessing the sun. So it's this, we can understand this event is out of our thinking. They stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venus. The grew never stopped growing tumultuously, even as you watched it. So they just stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venus. The Venus is covered with a jungle that grew and never stopped growing tumultuously, means loudly, even as you watched it. It was a nest of octopi. Octopi means octopi is the plural of octopus. It seems like the nest of a number of octopus over there, like clustering up great arms of flesh like weed wavering, flowering in the brief spring. Seems like here again it is a metaphor. The octopus and its arms are compared to the forest that is stretched all over the Venus planet. It was the color of rubber and ash. This jungle formed the many years without sun. It was the color of stones, the white cheese and ink, and it was the color of moon. So all white and very dull in its appearance, because we all know without the sun photosynthesis is impossible. So nothing is in green color. Green is the color of vitality, joviality, but everything is in dull white and ash color with a lifeless appearance. The children lay out laughing on the jungle mattress. They are just lying out on the mattress and just hard it shy and squeak under them, resilient and alive. They are just shouting with their high pitch of voice, and they are just having the feel of the resilient mattress of the jungle underneath them. They ran among the trees, they slipped and fell, they pushed each other, they played hide and seek and tag, but most of all they squinted. Most of the time they squinted. Squinted means we can say opening your eyes partly. Okay, not wide open but partly open and looking at the sun. Okay, until the tears ran down their faces. So with extreme warmness and hotness, uh, as long as they can stand it, they were doing. But when the tears are coming out of their eyes, they stopped doing that. They put their hands up to the yellowness and amazing blueness and breathed of the fresh air, listened and listened to the silence which suspended them in a blast of sea of no sound and no motion. They are just enjoying the blueness, the greenness, everything, the every color of it with their whole heart. They looked at everything and savored everything. Means they are looking at everything, they're literally having the taste of everything. Then wildly like animals escaped from their caves, and they ran and ran in shouting circles. They ran for an hour and did not stop running. So almost for an hour they are running. And then in the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. Everyone stopped. A girl standing in the open held her hand like this. Oh, look, look, said she, trembling. They came slowly to look at her opened arm. So they all have come and gathered there to see what is there on her opened arm. In the center of it, cupped and huge, was a single raindrop. Can you imagine? She began to cry looking at it. They glanced quietly at the sun. Means the time has come for the sun to go set forever for more 7 years. Oh, a few cold drops fell on their noses and their cheeks and their mouths. The sun faded behind the star of a mist. A wind blew cold around them. They turned and started to walk back toward the underground house. Their hands at the sides and their smiles literally vanishes away. A boom of thunder again startled them, and like leaves before a new hurricane, they tumbled upon each other and ran. So here they just stumbled against each other. That is the exactly same scenario that happens before a hurricane occurs. So they started running. Lightning struck then miles away, 5 miles away, a mile, half a mile, and the sky darkened into midnight in a flash. So the same scenario has taken place again. They stood in the doorway of the underground for a moment until it was raining hard. Then they closed the door and heard the gigantic sound of rain falling in tons and avalanches everywhere and forever. Again the same thing, the avalanches, the snowfall, the gigantic sound of thunderstorm, hurricane, volcanic eruption, the same previously, same scenario. Will it be 7 more years? Yes, 7. Then one of them gave a little cry. Margaret, what? She's still in the closet where we locked her. Margaret. They stood as if someone has driven them like so many stakes into the floor. Okay, they looked at each other and then looked away. They glanced out at a wall that was raining now, raining and raining steadily. Oh my God, they could not meet each other's glances. Out of what? Out of extreme shame. They can't see, they can't meet each other's glances. They are so much shameful towards their action that they actually performed with Margaret. They can't even think of. Their faces were solemn and pale. They looked at each other's hands and feet, their faces down. Margaret, one of the girls said. Well, no one moved. Go on, whispered the girl. They walked slowly down the hall in the sound of cold rain. They turned through the doorway where they have locked actually Margaret to the room in the sound of storm and thunder, lightning on their faces, blue and terrible. They walked over the closet door slowly and stood by it. Behind the closet door was only silence. They unlocked the door even more slowly and let Margaret out. So, yes, they what they did to Margaret. Tell me. Margaret, now they realize that what Margaret was saying about the sun, every word of her sentence, every bit of it was completely correct. And now they are very much ashamed of themselves that they have locked the girl inside a closet who was the most the most excited sort of person present over there among all them, and she wanted to witness sun, but she couldn't due to their shameful what to say, what would you term it, the way they have reacted, the way they actually slammed her inside a closet without paying any heed to her silent sobbing. What do you think? Will they be will they be able to have the mercy? No, I don't think. And this will happen to you if you ever think of doing something different. So don't get afraid. You might face certain action performed by the opponent party of yours or all around the people, but you should not get afraid of all this. Rather, you should be more determined, and of course you, towards the end, the truth will reveal. And here we can understand that the theme of the story is about bullying somebody who is exactly revolt what is the stated norms by all of you. If anybody is there to revolt against, he or she has to face such slam. And yes, of course, this is this bullying took place due to excessive jealousy and envy that is there present in all the human beings nowadays. We hardly remember being compassionate, being affectionate to each other. Rather, we are very jealous and envious of people nowadays. And of course, sun is the symbol of emotion, color, vitality, hope, and a promise of tomorrow, right? So this is for all. Hopefully you have enjoyed the class. I'll ask you to read out the story once again. If you face any problem, I'm there to help you out. Don't have any sort of hesitation to ask me. And we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Till then, take care of yourself. Have a happy day. Bye bye.